Welcome to the Red Half of Sheffield preview pod, where, guess again, I inevitably preview another inevitable Blades loss, this time at the hands of Chelsea. Wait, maybe not a defeat? I don't know. Tonight we are joined by Nick from the London is Blue podcast. Nick, how are you doing this Tuesday evening?
Yeah, doing all right. Appreciate you having me on. Obviously, we do previews for the opposition throughout the year, and it's always good to do one in a kind of new format and with a new team. So yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah. I guess we'll get right into it. So, Chelsea, sum them up this season in a nutshell. What ebbs and flows, highs and lows?
Yeah, the every year we do a 3-word match preview or a 3-word season preview. We do 3-word match previews for our normal match review shows, and I chose fun but frustrating. Haven't run into the fun part yet, so I'm hopeful that somewhere around the corner we're gonna reach the fun. But yeah, I mean, I think we were talking a little bit off air. Chelsea gets a lot of coverage. They're big club, lots of money spent, blah 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 blah. But this new model is really being put under test and under strain, and it's not responded very well. It's a very, very inconsistent, very young, very naive team that can be exciting, that can play some really good stuff. But yeah, we have not yet seen the maturity or evolution begin really at the club over the last 2 years. And so, yeah, every week you just don't really know what you're gonna get. You don't know who's gonna play well, who's gonna play like shit. I mean, you have a pretty good idea that Cole Palmer is gonna play pretty well at this point,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is a very, very interesting dynamic situation at Chelsea. And yeah, no idea what's gonna happen on Sunday. No clue.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, we play Liverpool on Thursday and we know we're gonna get absolutely hammered, but then you look at like Chelsea at Sunday, you're like, just maybe. I don't know. So a lot of the coverage over here, especially with the 2-2 draw against Burnley this weekend,
Yep.
Poch in or Poch out? Where do you stand on that? And do you think he's going to make it to the end of the season?
Yeah, he's definitely going to make it to the end of the season. I think the question is what happens after that. I don't think he's done a particularly good job. I think the question that's being asked, and I think it's the right question among our side of the supporters, is who's going to come in and do better. And there are no guarantees in the management game outside of Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, formerly Thomas Tuchel, but even he's fallen on his ass this year. I mean, there are so few really, really good managers out there that can manage in the Premier League, that can manage multiple different high level personalities in the Premier League, that can navigate what is an incredibly difficult gauntlet of a season in the Premier League, incredibly physical, incredibly taxing, marketing, promotional stuff, the whole 9 yards. I mean, you guys know the deal that, there are tons of names out there that are being floated all the time. Chelsea always has a ton of names around it from a management perspective. You know that. But I have yet to see one come across my screen where I'm like, that's a lock. That one's a lock. That one's going to do better. So I will respectfully evade your question right now because I simply don't know. I don't know. I'm going to give – we have no choice but to give Poch through the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're going to reach our goals this season of getting back into Europe. I certainly don't think we're going to win the FA Cup. And it will have been, if that comes to fruition, it will have been a huge failure. And, being in 11th place at this point in the year again, not good enough, man. Not good enough.
Yeah, no, I completely understand where you're coming from. So to tail end your question there, what in your eyes, considering Obviously the goals have changed throughout the season. What in your eyes would make, what considered like a win to this season?
Well, I mean, through the end of the year, we have 9 matches left, or 10 matches because we have a game in hand, but 10 matches left in the season. There is an opportunity for Chelsea to make it back into a European place, whether that's the Conference League, Europa League, or either one of those. I mean, obviously, Champions League's way off, but I think for us to string together some results and start playing some more comprehensive football is absolutely required if there is to be talk of progression. If not, and we keep kind of yo-yoing across, the season and good performance, odd good performance here, and then a string of mediocre or bad performances, continued injuries, all that stuff, then I just don't see how you could consider this season a success, even if a couple of players, a couple of really talented players do kind of break through and have good years.
Yeah, yeah. And is this a situation where Chelsea, under the new, I guess, glorified salary cap, you want to call it now, because you can't really spend as much if you're not making a profit anymore. Is this where something where Chelsea's able to build on into the future? Not being able to sell many players and kind of almost turn over the squad. Is it where they can build a core together?
Well, I
For
mean, that's the bet that they've taken. That's the bet that the management team have taken, right? Which
Mhm,
is we're going to buy him young. We're going to string him on huge contracts or long contracts, not huge amounts of money because they're not proven. And we're going to hope that they become a team.
mhm,
And it doesn't work that often. I mean, you look across the gamut of the Premier League, it happens very rarely. Like obviously, the Sir Alex Manchester United teams grew like that, but
mhm,
he was a mainstay in that, and he started having success pretty early. So they grew together, they won together, they kept growing together, they kept winning together. Right? You started to
mhm,
see like a real pattern emerge there. You look across at your top teams. Arsenal are kind of the aberration. They're relatively young, relatively unproven, still playing pretty good. Liverpool and City are just chock full of incredible experienced talent.
mhm,
Chelsea used to be chock full of incredible experienced talent. It's a much easier pathway to success. It's a much easier pathway to success to have a Erling Holland or a Mo Salah or some sort of talisman that is going to perform at a 7 or 8 out of 10 minimum every single week. And that the rest of the players will lift their game to meet that person,
mhm.
right? Like
Yeah.
that is the key. Like you've seen incredibly average players at Liverpool lift their game to be something better. You've seen John Stones at Manchester City become a world class defender. When I remember, old John Stones at Everton, not
Terrible.
necessarily that good.
It is
Like
terrible.
you've seen growth and development of all these other guys because you have a core, right?
Mhm.
Chelsea don't have a core.
Yeah.
We have some interesting prospects for sure, and like I think that there's some real talent in the team. There can be no denying that. But
Mhm.
I mean, if you're another young player alongside Cole Palmer and you played under 21s with him and him, like, are you lifting your game for your buddy like
Yeah,
that? I
right?
don't
Yeah.
know. I
It's
I,
true.
I don't know. Or are you lifting your game for John Terry?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you put it in comparison like that, yeah, that makes total sense. Um, all right, so you mentioned the likes of Cole Palmer. Who who besides Cole Palmer are gonna tear Sheffield United a new asshole on Sunday?
You got to be, yeah. There are a few guys that I would be worried about if I were you. I think Nico Jackson is a guy who has been pretty consistently good for us this year. Not maybe all the goals that we had hoped for, but really good play, really strong off the ball runs, really dynamic in behind. So if there's a through ball played, he's almost certainly going to be faster than anyone that you guys have that can catch
Mhm.
him. And he's just a personality. He's a really interesting personality. Doesn't take shit off anybody. I think he has tied for most yellow cards in the league this year. So one more, and he's suspended for 2 games. So hopefully that doesn't happen. He's one I would certainly look out for. I don't know. Just candidly, we're recording this before we play Manchester United, which is one of our makeup games on Thursday, and I don't know, if Mudryk or Sterling is going to be favored for the Sheffield game, because likely, whoever starts the United game is not going to start the Sheffield United game a couple days later. I'm also just really intrigued to see if Malagusto can shake off what looked like a hammy or not. And if not, then that's one less guy that you have to worry about, because he's been absolutely dynamic for us. Incredible young talent. So I would say those guys are the ones I'd look out for. Mudryk has been very interesting lately. Obviously got a huge goal against Iceland in the Euro playoff, and now Ukraine is qualified for the for Euro 2024, and that is phenomenal for them, for the spirit and everything like that. So, who knows? Maybe he goes on a little bit of a tear, but yeah, it's slim pickings right now.
Yeah. Well, there's one last thing to do. How bad is it going to be? What's your score prediction? Give it to me.
Oh, I mean, what was the score the first time we played?
A lot to a little.
Okay.
I think. Hold on, I will pull it up.
Yeah,
Here.
pull that up, because we beat Burnley 4-1 at Turf Moor, and then shit the bed at home. So
2-0.
yeah,
2-0.
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think a scrappy 2-1 Chelsea is probably the way. Like, our defense has just been leaking goals, so like I have no doubt you guys are gonna score one. You might score two. Who knows? If we're feeling extra generous that day, but. Yeah, it's been a weird old season for the defense. There have been moments where we've gone multiple clean sheets in a row, and then there have been moments where every ball that goes in, you're just holding your breath, because you don't know if it's going to come out the other side. So, yeah, I think a scrappy 2-1.
Yeah, I had the exact same scoreline, 2-1. Somehow we scored a 3 against Fulham, and I don't know. I still have no idea how the hell we did that. Yeah, I think we'll, but the losing streak, well, it won't continue because we drew against Fulham, but it will reignite again, and only 8 more games. Yeah, eight more games after Sunday, 7 more games maybe.
We have to play United on Thursday, though. I mean, like, our team is going to be dead tired for this Sheffield United game, so it's entirely possible you guys get a result.
maybe as I mentioned on our podcast we recorded last night, maybe we will rotate teams for Liverpool and put out a team that'll get just hammered, and then just put all of our decent at best players out against Chelsea and maybe try and get one. But who knows? I'm not the manager.
The league would thank you if you upset the Klopp drama at the end of the year. That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, trust me, I would love every bit of it. Just to piss in their Cheerios before we say cheerio to this season. All right, before we get out of here, I have one more question. I ask it to every opponent podcast we have. Match day, what is your go-to beverage? It can be alcohol, it can be non-alcohol. What do you, when you go to the pub or you're at the house?
All right, so I'll give you two, because I live in, for those who have never listened to the show before, and I wouldn't imagine that you would have. I live in Kansas City, so our pub is called the Belfry, and it's a wonderful pub with wonderful people. And so if I am at the pub, I'm having a local brew, an Alma Mater Pilsner, which is a phenomenal beer. It's been a good luck beer for me this year. So if I get down to the pub, that'll be 100% what I do. If I am at home, I'm almost certainly mainlining coffee and just trying to keep all the mental notes that I can, so that I can record later in the day. So either one, I don't know.
Yeah, depends on the time of day too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nice match time for us on Sunday. So it's like one of the few kind of nice time slots that we've had.
Yeah, because I'm actually going to the Final Four this weekend, so I'll be in Arizona. So it sets up as a 10:30 kick out
Oh,
there.
there you go.
Sets up perfect for me, and yeah, it shall be entertaining.
Are you a Wolfpack or who are you supporting out there?
I'm going. It's my bachelor party.
Oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, have fun.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a blast.
Go play some golf or something, man. It's beautiful out there.
Yeah. Uh, before we go, Nick, drop the podcast where they can listen to, where they can find you on social media, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, London is Blue podcast across all the podcast platforms. You guys know where to find them. And then at London Blue Pod if you want to talk straight to us on social.
I might send you guys a couple of messages, maybe a little bit inebriated Sunday morning, but all is well. You guys want to follow the podcast Red Half of Sheffield's on YouTube at Red Sheffield on X, Twitter. You can follow me, cjarvis_13 on Twitter. And until Sunday, when we probably inevitably lose to Chelsea, I will leave you with this: up the blade.